From Manila, it was an hour's flight to Cebu, the Queen City of the South. With its beautiful beaches and colorful culture, it's a great venue to host an international conference, showcasing the best the country has to offer. ATCs from all over the Philippines and Asia-Pacific region, with 19 countries represented, attended the 38th IFATCA Asia-Pacific Regional Meeting, which coincided with some special celebrations for air traffic control. The event is spearheaded by the Philippine Air Traffic Controllers Association, with its chairman, Rudy Boctot, at the helm.
Finally, here we are in the 38th in-person IFATCA Asia-Pacific Regional Meeting. This was originally scheduled last 2020, and that time the APRM was postponed due to the pandemic. The Philippine Air Traffic Controllers Association would like to express its gratitude to IFATCA Asia and Pacific and to its member associations for your continuing trust for the Philippines to host this significant event.
It was a colorful and festive Filipino welcome, with traditional dances that represented Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Aside from the regional meeting, IFATCA Asia-Pacific Executive Vice President Cheryl Chen clues me in on the significance of this event. So Cheryl, what are we celebrating today?
So today is the International Air Traffic Controllers Day, and our special this year is very special because it's the 100-year celebration for this job as a profession.
And what do you think of having the celebration here in Cebu?
Yeah, I think it's really wonderful because it's coincide with the 60 years of the Philippine Air Traffic Controllers Association established.
Yes.
So I think it's a good opportunity that we can celebrate it also with the air traffic controllers from Philippines.
So you think Cebu is a good venue then?
It is a very good venue, and this is my first time in Philippines. I'm really glad to have this opportunity to travel to Philippines.
We're neighbors.
Yeah, we're neighbors just next to each other.
Yeah.
And finally get the chance to see the city, the town, and the people here.
Great.
And the hospitality, it's amazing.
Great. I hope you enjoy the rest of your stay. Jean-Francois Lepage, who is the liaison officer to the ICAO Air Navigation Commission, tells me more about the importance of international cooperation in the field of air traffic control. So JF, what exactly is your role with ICAO and also with the IFATCA?
I am the liaison officer to the ICAO Air Navigation Commission. It means I represent the International Federation worldwide at the ICAO forum. What it means in practice is that ICAO is a United Nations bodies that is in charge of mainly standardization and harmonization of aviation practices around the globe. So one thing you probably need to know is the fact that standardization is one thing with the creation of standards and recommended practices, but the biggest part of the work ICAO is conducting at the moment is the implementation phase. This is the most difficult.
Yes, with different nations, with different leaders.
Exactly. Everybody has a different context, different constraints, different airspace, and different airlines as well, operating different aircraft types. You add to that the military, the equipment, the staffing issues, sometimes also certain political issues.
Can't be avoided.
Exactly, we cannot avoid it. So the idea is to assess what exactly are the needs in the region, especially the needs of controllers, and see where they have issues with implementation of those standards and try to assist as much as we can. So information is one thing, sharing of best practices, this is something we do this week.
Important for ICAO to do
Exactly.
that. What about having an activity here in the Philippines? What do you think so far?
The activity is great, the event is great. Obviously the host country has put a lot of effort and a lot of time into elaborating this event. Thanks to our sponsors, the event has so far been a success.
I also got the chance to catch up with some of the officials from the Civil Aviation Authority of the Philippines who graced the occasion.
Captain, after the new administration, how do you plan to support the air traffic controls?
Well, the plan now of CAAP,
Yes.
because of our aging current CNS ATM system,
Yes.
we are planning to put up a backup system for that.
That's a good idea, I think. Huh?
Yes, and it's going to be very useful for our operations.
I see. What about additional training for the air traffic controllers?
That is always ongoing. They do have the recurrent training, and they recently recruited more would-be or future controllers.
That's great.
Yeah.
I saw some young
That's correct.
aspiring controllers and very, very enthusiastic about their job.
You know, it's very important. Their role in the industry is really very important to keep our skies safe.
That's right.
So we try to look for new blood. It's a continuity of what we have, future generation.
Captain, I know you just retired recently and I envy you.
Thank you.
But during your administration, could you share with us the accomplishment that you have done, especially for the air traffic controllers?
When we started in 2016, the establishment of the Air Traffic Management Center was ongoing, and we were able to complete that in 2018. What is the Air Traffic Management Center? It is radar monitoring, surveillance, and traffic control flow management.
Yes.
In the future, I hope that we continue with that system, at the same time think of backup alternate system, because as you know, we're in the fault line. If the real big thing really, I hope God willing it does not happen, but there is no reason why the other parts of the Philippines should be closed down.
That's right.
So you have to have a backup facility. Another one is the arrival, departure management in and out of Miaa.
That's right.
All of this, I hope in the near and long term would be improved.
Well, congratulations for the hard work and the accomplishments that you've done. And I hope we all enjoy our retirement life.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's no easy task to put these systems in place. And I got the chance to see them for myself when I visited some of our air traffic control facilities in Manila previously. The ATMC houses a central traffic control complex which has approach facilities and en route control not only for Manila but also for Clark, Mactan, Bacolod, and Calibo. Along with the new communications, navigation, and surveillance air traffic management system, the country now has 13 radars from the previous 3. The ATMC also has its own training facility. Air traffic controllers make use of available technology to guide and direct aircraft through the local airspace, making sure that there is safe and efficient aircraft separation. This is not only for one flight, but for several flights happening all at once. Therefore, ATCs must always be focused and have the ability to make quick and sound decisions, which can affect thousands of lives. I was able to chat with Bart and Eugene, some of the ATCs assigned during my visit.
The basic mandate of an air traffic controller is to ensure, of course, the safety of the aircraft and manage, sequence, and of course, expeditious, orderly. Personally, I am assigned at the Manila approach radar. We have 3 specific positions with that: the inner, the outer north, and the outer south.
As an en route radar-rated air traffic controller, my obligation is to provide safety and direct aircraft efficiently to minimize delays, and as well as monitor these aircraft while they travel through the skies.
Have you ever had an emergency while being on duty?
Yeah, I have one maybe a couple of years ago. It's actually an international flight. like 40 nautical miles prior to landing, the pilot declared emergency. It's actually a one engine out. Of course, you have to ask the pilot what's his intention, what's the nature of the emergency, so that you could coordinate clearly to the tower, to the airport, what he needs, may it be ambulance, fire trucks. Of course, there are aircraft already sequenced for landing, then you have to give priority to the aircraft in emergency.
An emergency situation happened. It was a crack on the windshield of the aircraft. So they suddenly
Requested.
requested for a turnaround. We just advised the accepting facility
Okay.
what's going on with the situation. We had asked the pilot what's their intention, and we just follow what they needed at that time. So which basically a 180 degree and then go to a certain fix. And then,
Closer to a closer airport.
yes.
Bart and Eugene had a lot more interesting stories about ATC life. But it was time for me to go to my next stop, the Manila Control Tower. I've always liked the view up here in the tower. Who says you can't learn anything from staring out the window? I got to talk to Neil, one of the young ATCs assigned here.
Which specific responsibility do you have up in the tower?
Back in the tower cab, our shift supervisor actually assigns which control position we will be working on for the rest of our shift. We have our 5 working positions. First is the aerodrome controller, or the alpha controller as we say, who is responsible for giving takeoff and landing clearances, as well as taking action for all the traffic in our circuit. Next is the coordinator, the one seated on the left of the alpha controller. The coordinator is responsible for being the second eye of the alpha controller. The next is the ground controller. The ground controller's role basically is to give startup clearances to all aircraft who are ready for departure, and the one position next to the ground controller is the flight data position.
Reports everything.
Yes, basically types in the arrival time of aircrafts on arrivals, and prints NOTAMs, or the notice to airmen, as well as printing slotting forms for departures. And the 5th position is the clearance delivery position. The clearance delivery position is responsible for requesting and delivering ATC clearances to aircraft, or to the pilots requesting for ATC clearance.
And the one at the back will be your supervisor.
Yes.
Yeah.
So he or she oversees the shift, makes sure that there's harmony, and one of the main role of the supervisor is to coordinate with concerned units during emergencies or incidents.
I asked Neil what the most fulfilling part of his job was, and what is next for him as an ATC.
Whenever I get to set the flying public to their destination safely. So that's really something that I hold on to. And 5 or 10 years from now, I look forward actually to teaching budding air traffic controllers at the Aviation Training Center.
Great.
It was great to meet very enthusiastic young people who are passionate about their jobs and realize the big responsibility they have in keeping aviation a safe experience. Up next, the celebration continues as ATCs all over the world commemorate 100 years of keeping an eye on our skies.